Yeah.
Make a motion to return from executive session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners, board members. This is the monthly fire report, monthly fire official report for the month of October. My fire report goes following as the acting fire official for the Mount Holly Fire District, Fire District 1, Bureau of Fire Prevention, goes as follows. Over the past several weeks, I've just been meeting with especially some members of the township, especially Deputy Mayor Rich DeFalco, regarding the township's upcoming annual tree lighting ceremony that's going to be held this Friday. Ceremony with tree lighting service heard is a very good event. We just talked about from a public safety standpoint that we're all on the same page, on the communication standpoint, to make sure the event continues to be a festive and a memorable one for our residents, our visitors, and township officials that are going to be witnessing the event. I've been in contact also with the vendor, which is Mr. Bill Hellman, who I'm very familiar with, which is the name of his company is Aunt Martha's Funnel Cakes, who will be supplying the refreshments at no cost to the residents and visitors that day for the public, and they'll get the inspection earlier that day prior to the event, several hours prior to the event. Also, too, that's part of my agenda, as been here for the last several months, looking over some things, looking to bring to the township's attention some ordinances that I'll bring to their attention, some things I've looked over doing some inspections. I'd like to bring up two. The first one, looking up to bring the ordinance proposal of the Mount Holly Township that'll benefit the fire department and the fire prevention bureau. The first one is the Knox box ordinance. I noticed that many commercial businesses do not have many in the township. If a fire alarm goes off in the middle of the night, there's emergency responders on scene, and there's no Knox box any access to the property. Now, if you do not want further damage to your property, a Knox box would be more sufficient and safe to have. If you do not have one, you know, would you rather have an emergency responder break your door, break your windows, things like that? Having a Knox box system, Knox box, in my 26 plus years in the fire service, they usually come in the colors of, I've seen black, I've seen brown, I've seen gray. Some I've seen red in other towns. It would be more sufficient to have one at a commercial business. And where I work at full time, it's an ordinance to have one at any business that's not 24 hours monitored. The only ones that don't require one are your hospitals, ERs, like I said, anything that's not 24 hours, or you know, that they have 24-hour security around the clock. They'll be very successful for our businesses, for fire personnel, emergency personnel to gain access. If you're not familiar with a Knox box, only police and fire personnel would have access to getting in. If you take that out, the box itself, it does leave a tracking device of who taken out. Like ourselves, we have to put our personal identification key number in. It tells you who took it out, what time it happened, and the time we put it back in. It definitely keeps a great tracking of everything. The second one is I'll be presenting to the township is the resetting of fire alarms prior to the arrival ordinance. Under New Jersey Uniform Fire Code, New Jersey Administrative Code 5-70, an activated fire alarm should not be reset by the owner or occupant of a building without the approval of the responding fire department or fire official in the fire department. It shall not be reset because if it has not been confirmed that the smoke or fire conditions are not present. This rule helps ensure safety by preventing the premature resetting of the alarm, which could hide a real fire and lead to a dangerous situation. The penalty shall be imposed when this is done and increased if it is done on a continuous basis. This past, I'm going to say yesterday, we didn't have a duty crew, so I went out for an alarm on High Street. I won't mention the business. It was reset prior to my arrival. The second floor, there was a careless cooking. The owner decided to reset the alarm. there was still a pretty good smoke condition up in there on the second floor. If the fire department still got there was still some good smoke in the apartment. And the residents were still having some smoke issues, which it was not properly ventilated. Now, they reset the system. I asked them why. It was not a good enough explanation. And that ordinance would have been imposed. He would have been fined right on the spot, and it would have been continuing on that matter. He's not sworn personnel. He's not a fire official. He just decided on his own to reset the fire alarm. And that's what I would be presenting to the township. And that would be imposed on a fine, and that money would be come back into the fire department, into the Fire Prevention Bureau on a regular basis, anyone doing that. And it's been done on many cases on calls I've responded to in the town. Now, next will be my monthly summary. For this month, for inspections wise, there were not any life hazard use inspections. There were one non-life hazard inspection, one complaint inspection, 6 re-inspections, certificates issued for completing their inspections were 7. Requests for time extensions granted were 11. The inspections done, 8 violations issued, 2 retrofits, and 1 or 2 family for sale inspections done was 14. Respectfully submitted, Ernest Dogger III, acting fire official.
Do we have any questions?
Could you briefly tell us, Mr. Doggett, what is a Knox box?
Knox box is, it can be at different sizes, depends how many keys you have, you know, type of building. I can only buy the examples I have where I work at. It can be this big, it's just a box. It goes it's mounted permanently to outside of a building fixture. Most likely the front of the building where I would say the apparatus should be first responding. So if you say use your main entrance, it should be to the right or the left at a certain height, no more, excuse me, less than 6 feet, no more than 12 feet high. Where a ladder is put up, a signal is given, there's a key that's in the apparatus, that's a special key made and taken out. They take the keys out. Most likely, we always have an emergency contact in that box. The keys to the main door, we ask for a key to the electrical rooms, all main rooms where they can check it out for. And that's what's in the Knox box. There is also many contact numbers in there and things like that.
So it's basically a repository for the business owner to put keys for access to
Yes.
in their building that we, the district, would hold a special key for that box. Yes?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you for your report, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Apparatus Officer report.
Good evening, Commissioners. And congratulations, Mr. Thiessen. Chief Apparatus Officer report, December 2025. As of December 3rd, 2025, all apparatus are reported to be in good operating order except for 5011. That has been having an engine light come on, losing power, and is currently at Hainsport Truck for repairs because they're coming in the order and they have the software to do it. No other problems have been reported to me. The new command car and Fire Police 5018 were both taken to the motor vehicle inspection station and both passed and got new stickers. Hainsport Truck was supposed to call me back this afternoon if they got it done. I was going to get up and go pick it up, but I haven't heard from them, so I guess it's still out of service. That's my report.
Mr. Gaskell?
Yeah.
Could you tell me, you referred to the command car and the Fire Police 5018.
Yes.
Which vehicles are they?
5018 is the utility
Okay,
with the open back.
okay, and what is the command
The
car?
command car is, some people call it chief's car, some people call it.
No, you mean the vehicle that we
The new one, yes.
bought by resolution dictating as a chief's vehicle?
Well, I don't know, I had nothing to do with the resolution.
I'm
I'm just
asking
telling you about the
because
vehicle.
I want for clarity in your reports, I would like for it to reflect that by resolution, we passed the purchase of a chief's vehicle. So to
Okay.
call it the command car just leaves room for, vagary. So, I mean, if you would be so kind as going forward to refer to that as it was written in the resolution.
If that's
I would
what you
really
request,
appreciate
that's
that.
what I'll do,
Thank you.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Safety officer.
Tim Young, Department Safety Officer. There's no formal report for the month of October, which is actually a good thing. It's just nothing that needed to be fixed, so I like that. Informally, as I made my way across the dais already, you're already aware up there, the fire extinguishers will need resurfacing in January, which we will handle. And then just separately, there is this light out in the parking lot in the rear. I originally reported it to PSEG in March. I got multiple emails throughout the last couple of months that they were working on it, got an email saying it was fixed, and it is still out, so I had put in another ticket with PSEG to try to get that corrected. Outside of that, I don't have anything.
Questions? Thank you, sir. All right. Old business, do we have any old business we can discuss?
The acting attorney submitted a report, and it's submitted from the president.
Is he here?
It's here, but it's
Right,
not here.
Is he here?
Yes, but Mr. Allen, I believe is here. Well, he's not on, it's not on the
Mr. Allen,
agenda.
would you like to give, the acting chief's report, sir?
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not on
It was forwarded
the, it's not on the
to
agenda.
Chairwoman, acting / director.
I apologize.
I'm sorry, what?
He just basically said he gave the report to the acting
did.
director.
It was
Okay.
emailed to Chairwoman / acting director.
Did you wanna give us any feedback on it? Do you wanna? I
No.
don't have a copy here. No, thank you very much.
Great job, Chief.
Thank you. All right, do we have any old business?
I actually do, and I don't know if it's old business, but there's no place for, me at the end of or any of the commissioners to talk, but I would wanna thank, officially, last week or 2 weeks ago, firefighter Mickey and the acting chief, Rob Allen, were able to, do a really good thing for a local Girl Scout troop where they gave them a tour and they did a great job, and I got a lot of really positive feedback from it. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew it and that they did a really great job, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under new business, one of the topics we discussed in executive swearing in of officers, we need to make sure that we follow proper procedure as per our rules. We will not be swearing in any of the officers at this point tonight. Any of the officers that are currently in their positions will serve on a month-to-month basis until we make sure the proper procedure has been followed. That brings us to resolution number 2025-66, resolution designated website for the posting of notices for public meetings. You've had a chance to review the
I have a
resolution.
question about this. Does this mean that we're going to, I'm sorry, do we need to open it before we discuss it, or?
Technically, we should, yes.
Okay.
Anybody want to make a motion on the resolution?
I second.
Moving the second, go right ahead.
Okay, so, it is my understanding from reading this that it is our intention to only be notifying the public via website. And I know that there were some recent changes to the Open Public Meetings Act, and that allows that to become one of the mechanisms by which you notify the public, but it also requires that you register your website. With whom is escaping me, but there's an official government entity that you must register your website with. I don't know, have we undergone that and received confirmation of that registration? And are we fully omitting any publication, any local paper, any hanging it up in the town hall, for maybe our elderly and maybe our less tech savvy community members to have access and knowledge of that occurring? And in addition to posting it on our website, might we expand that to include a post on our Facebook page about that meeting? So, I mean, those were sort of my questions, the first two, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the website that you referred to is going to be implemented by the Secretary of State, the New Jersey Secretary of State. That goes into effect after March 1. That website is currently not up and running to a point where we can register with it. we will be obligated legally to register with it, and to comply with the new versions of the Open Public Meetings Act, at least those parts of it, when that is up and running after March 1st. Nothing that this resolution says or doesn't say would alleviate that obligation and our requirement to satisfy when the time comes.
Right.
I don't necessarily read the resolution as limiting, or as being as limiting as you do. However, I understand your concerns about it.
Well, I mean, last year I asked because last year when doing this, chose other places by resolution where they would be published, and that's omitted from this resolution, and I don't see a companion resolution that would address those concerns.
So I think your options are, that we could discuss them now. They could be incorporated into this resolution. It could still be voted on, as long as everyone understood what they were voting on. The signed version of the resolution then would have to reflect whatever other context the board agrees will include the public notices. Like if it is on a bulletin board, which I believe it will still be and needs to be, like a sign, Facebook page, whatever the case may be. Or if there is a newspaper, even if that requirement is no longer in effect, it doesn't stop the board from agreeing to designate a newspaper to publish notices on. We would, however, that once we formally adopt that, we would want to remain consistent with it throughout the year.
Well, sure, I know we could do it, but my concern here is that if it's not resolutionally enshrined, that we would neglect to do it.
Well, but I think what he's saying is we can add it to the resolution tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, other option would be have another resolution at the next meeting that incorporates the other areas in which we would publish, but it doesn't stop you from amending this
But
resolution.
this isn't necessary for us until March 1, correct?
I know
It's
this-
not mandatorily compliant.
We should adopt this tonight, because it does designate the actual district website as the place where we are publishing these notices. That would be the case whether this new amendments to the Open Public Meetings Act were in existence or not. We would still have this resolution in front of us tonight.
Okay, so then I move to amend Resolution 2025-66 to designate the website for posting of electronic notices for public meetings, but to maintain all other methods of publication for meetings, both special and regularly scheduled alike, as we previously held. Yes. So I believe, I'm not certain which newspaper that is. Sam, do you happen to know?
It is Courier Post and Burlington County Times.
Right, as well as the township clerk's office.
Municipal Clerk, Fire District Administration Office, Good Intent Fire Company, and the website as well.
I mean, I'd be comfortable including, let that be my motion.
Your motion for amendment.
Yes, to amend it to include all of our current sources as well as incorporate this new source.
And so basically you made the motion, I'll second it. You have any other further comments on the resolution? All right, resolution 2025-66 as amended. It's been moved in second, sorry.
Sorry.
Resolution number 2025-66 has been amended, as Commissioner outlined. And it's been moved and seconded. We have a roll call.
Commissioner Lowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Saucier,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Chairman Beeson.
Yes.
Excellent.
And Chairman, just as a reminder, the resolution that's actually signed will need to reflect those changes prior to being signed. We can either assist with that, or whoever is going to be signing it, just make sure that it reflects those items that were included on the record tonight.
We currently don't have a secretary, and previously I've been forced to sign them after the meeting or come in and then be berated for not signing ones that were incomplete. So I'm not sure where you wanna go from there.
What I'll do with this one is I'll ask if you could just send me the record, the additional items that were added to this resolution. We'll revise it, we'll circulate a revised draft to the board, and if everyone agrees that it reflects the additional items that were agreed to tonight, you can go ahead and sign.
We don't need to post that good intent anymore, do we?
Speak up. Your mic.
Correct?
Commissioner Saucier asked if we were still required to post at good intent, and we're awaiting a response.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where is that on, is that on this resolution?
That's one of the things that Sam had brought up.
It's on, what we do, that's what we have to go down in the beginning, you guys approve that, so the amendment to not be good intent, is to do it annually. It doesn't say that, it's not gonna say in the new resolution.
No,
No, it's not on the front page. That's-
Did you already omit it from this month's agenda, Commissioner Saucier?
It's never been, I never put on. Oh.
It's on my.
Right, so it was on the November agenda.
Well, it's on my meeting minutes for the year every year.
Right.
Like your meeting minutes from reorg from last year.
Like what I copied from the reorg, yeah.
Got it. Alright,
So-
so it would be DCT, Courier Post, Township Clerk,
Anytime for those
Municipal
township
clerk, fire
clerk,
district
official
administration
bulletin
office.
board, and the township municipal building, and posted on the district website.
Township Clerk, and.
And there's nothing here for our building in those bullet points. So can we establish
The fire
something where we're
district
putting it in the window? Because the general public do not have access to the administrative office, do
So
they?
my meeting minutes, I have that.
Minutes or the agenda? Like, I'm looking at the front of the agenda, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm looking at my meeting minutes when I do have all that included in mine.
Okay.
From last year's.
I'm comfortable with everything we had last year in addition to adding this. Is everyone else comfortable with that?
That's the amendment.
Okay, so good intent is present there?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll continue to be present then. Unless you would like another roll call, because that's your call.
No, probably officially, we should have a roll call. So you made the motion for the amended resolution. I'm seconding the amended resolution, and we'll have a roll call.
Aye.
Commissioner Lowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Salcier,
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco,
Yes.
Chairman Livingston.
Yes, resolution is passed. Resolution, 2025-67, resolution authorizing a contract for auditing services. Do we have any comments or questions, any discussion on the resolution before we,
So
go ahead.
I'll motion to move 2025-67 to the floor.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Open for discussion?
This is the same gentleman that we've been working with for many, many moons? Okay, yeah, I have no questions.
Mine's just to make sure that we are, writing the right dates and understanding, because there was some, errors in last year's audit, that I wanna make sure that we are just double checking our dates and information and when people are assigned, because there's some minor things, and I feel like we really wanna clean it up.
Very good. Go to roll call, please.
Commissioner Lowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Salcier,
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco, Chairman Livingston.
Yes. Resolution is passed. Resolution 2025-68, resolution authorizing advertisement for a request for bid for legal services under the fair and open process. This is just advertisement for legal services. You've got a chance to review and read the resolution. Do we have a motion so we can discuss it? Moved and seconded. Questions, comments?
Do we have a term set out for how long this will be advertised for? I know that Mr. Watson has agreed to serve us as the interim solicitor, and I know we've given him a bit of a run for his money. How long do these typically, can you tell me more about what is the typical process municipally speaking?
Yeah, it's our firm's understanding, that yes, we're appointed as interim solicitor, and we serve in that capacity on a month-to-month basis until a full-time solicitor is appointed, which would be the purpose of this RFP that's going out. Generally, they're 1 year, appointments, year to year. In terms of how long it needs to be out, I believe the law actually has a pretty short amount of time, I want to say 10 days. That being said, it's very rare that a public entity would only advertise for 10 days. So it's difficult for me to give you a time. My guess would be that these types of advertisements are usually out for about a month. So just hypothetically, if it went out today, the proposals would be due January 3rd, let's just say. That's just a guess, but it really is, ultimately, it would be up to the chair to determine how long it would remain advertised.
You want to try to have them back for the next meeting, so we can permanently appoint them? Also, at least we can. Yeah, have them back, right.
And then make a decision from there.
So we want to put a date on it of, the review? Good idea. Yeah, so we're talking about, the next meeting is on the 7th. So, January 1st is, you want January 2nd or earlier?
They can't be due the day after, holiday.
Okay.
So it would have to be my birthday.
Right, so we wanna make it on, earlier then? Well, it just was the day the proposals are gonna be back in our hands, not necessarily, we don't have a meeting about it that time. It's just when the proposal is back in our hands.
But if there is a special meeting, we could poll and see how many people could come and actually come on that day, and not just a picked date by a chairperson that would be in the middle of the day.
The only thing I'm suggesting, Gina, is that that's when the proposals are due back. We will discuss it at the regular meeting along with everything else. The only thing I'm suggesting is, when do we wanna put in the proposal? When we physically want the proposals back for everybody to review.
Okay, thank you for the clarity. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have another special meeting in the middle of the
Nope.
day, or happen to be during someone's anniversary weekend.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting.
So the idea being that they would have them returned to us by that, what, the 3rd? And then they'd be submitted to all of us across the board for review, so we were prepared to discuss it in executive session prior to entering the meeting on that Wednesday.
Correct.
That sounds wonderful to me.
And the 3rd is the Saturday, is that an issue?
Yes, it has to be on a weekday, it can't be a day following the holiday.
So that Monday then, right? Fourth? Fifth?
Well, does that give us enough time to review?
Well, I'm happy with the Friday before the holiday. I mean, that would.
So the 2nd.
Does that?
Friday before is the 6th.
Well, you
and
said
then
can't
the-
do the
Correct.
2nd.
Correct.
Right, so it has to be the 5th. It has to be the 5th or December.
What do I know?
At your discretion.
What's more than
Let's do the 5th. Hopefully they're not that complicated, and we'll just have to bear down and review them. So we're gonna make it due by, the amendment to this, resolution is that the proposals due back from, various, bidders by, 1/5. 1/5 close of business. All right, with that amendment, do we have any other discussion or questions? All right, we need a motion on the amendment. Moved and seconded, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Saucier?
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco?
Yes.
Chairman Beeson?
Yes. Thank you, the resolution is passed. Resolution authorizing establishment of the official depository pursuant to NJSA 17:9-9. Again, new to the board, but I assume this is the same,
Yes.
banking institution as we've used previously. Any questions, comments on the, well, let's do a, anybody wanna introduce it? Make it first. Second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, any questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Lowe?
I abstain.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Saucier?
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco?
Yes.
Chairman Beeson?
Yes, resolution is passed. Resolution 2025-70, resolution authorizing additions and deletions of signatories on the official depository. I believe this is because of the changeover of commissioners. We're removing, Josh Brown, who is no longer a commissioner, and adding myself.
And myself, I'll be joining you that day, because I was never included, because the only times were during the day. Well, I work.
Very good. Okay, so, we have a motion on that, do we have a first? Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, we have any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Commissioner Lowe?
I abstain.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Salcier?
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco?
Yes.
Chairman Peasley?
Yes, resolution is passed. Resolution 2025-071, resolution reaffirming the board's prior actions, bylaws, policies, directives, decisions, orders, contracts, obligations, rules and regulations, and other acts or practices. All right, moved and seconded for a discussion. Comments, questions?
Yeah, can we separate these out? I mean, that's a pretty broad thing to reaffirm. Right? I have some concerns about some of the actions taken by this board in the last year that I would absolutely not offer an affirmation of, let alone a reaffirmation of. That's not to say that applies to every category labeled here, right? So I can understand the purpose of this is to kind of enshrine and dictate. However, you know, maybe Mr. Watson can help expand on this for me, because, like, is this traditional, just say with one sweeping motion, everything you've done up until now is good by everybody sitting here? Especially considering that some members of this board have not read that everything that we've ever sweepingly done and or been denied access to things we've sweepingly done. So I could potentially be affirming stuff I've never been privy to, and now you got me on the record saying, yeah, that's good.
So as you know, at least with regard to some policies and procedures, we are going to be looking into the legality of those, correct?
Right.
Even though they may have been approved before, we're still looking into that. If there's a determination made that any of those policies, procedures, or anything else are unlawful and violate New Jersey law, it wouldn't matter whether you pass this resolution or not. This resolution would not supersede the fact that those policies are void as a matter of law. It is somewhat traditional, somewhat common, I would say, to have a resolution similar to this, although to your point, this one is a bit broad in terms of what's being
Right.
approved. My concern on not approving anything at all, it wouldn't even really mean that the things that have already been approved, it wouldn't mean that they are no longer in effect.
No.
My concern about not approving anything at all would be the message, a misinterpreted message that, hey, we have no rules now, right? But that's not the case
Sure,
either.
sure, and granted, I accept that. However, I mean, this does say bylaws, policies, directives, decisions, orders, contracts, obligations, rules and regulations, and other acts and practices. So does that cover all of our business contracts as well as our professional contracts, as well as our in-house,
Yes.
agreement contracts? Does it cover obligations that may have been made orally by members of this district who have no authority to do so? And we've now affirmed that obligation by virtue of it existing and being agreed upon on our behalf, and we weren't necessarily even privy to it. Does that person then, have standing to say to us, hey, yeah, you're responsible for that obligation? You said, yeah, good on you.
So, from my standpoint, for the most part, regardless of whether or not this resolution is passed, the things itemized in here, the more formal policies, bylaws, things like that, they will remain in effect whether it's passed or not. It is a bit broad when it comes to some of the other decisions, things like that. At the very least, things that have been formally approved would also remain in effect month to month until something else is approved that supersedes them, or until there's a determination made, if there's a determination made that anything previously approved is void as a matter of law. So with that, given, I think, your valid concerns, and given the fact that this is a bit more ceremonial, and would not invalidate, it would not mean that the other rules, policies are suddenly invalid, they would remain in place until those other contingents take place. My thought would be, table it, come back to it. If we want to adopt a resolution, it's a bit more specific to have this type of resolution, again, albeit ceremonial on the books, we can do that. But it would be probably too much to amend right now to address all the concerns that we discussed here and also in closed session.
Now, did you say, I thought earlier in your, that it was a routine, like, you know, something that's passed, by councils, fire districts, on a relatively routine basis?
It is, it's more ceremonial. From our standpoint, just to give an example, if the township has municipal code at its reorganization meeting, that municipal code stays in effect whether they pass a resolution reaffirming the code or not. It does send a message to the public that you are reaffirming your commitment to your own rules and policies and laws. But here, where there are concerns about those rules, policies, and laws that we are actively looking into, I think it may make sense to not affirm those, at least at this meeting.
So you're saying we should, is that, repeat what you just said?
I think it would make sense to table it. That would be the best way, in my opinion, to address the concerns that were raised, and it would be without, there would be really no negative downside to tabling it.
Okay. All right, so, a motion to table the resolution,
So motion.
do we have a second? I'll second it, roll call?
Commissioner Lowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Salcier?
Yes.
Commissioner Gasko?
Yes.
Chairman Peasley?
Yes. Resolution 2025-72, resolution authorizing line item transfers as attached.
Motion to bring it onto the floor.
Second?
Questions? Rita, can you explain some of these? And did you do these yourself as the clerk, the accounting clerk?
help of the auditor.
Oh, with the current auditor that we just said yes, okay.
Real quick before we jump into them, when was this available and provided to the chair, the former chair?
I honestly don't remember, it's been several days ago.
So, yeah, okay, great, thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't remember what day it was.
Yeah, I asked because I received it this afternoon at 11:38. So I do appreciate you taking the time to go over it with us. I really sincerely appreciate that.
Okay. So where are your questions?
Just in general, I don't have a copy in my
Okay.
package apparently.
All right, well, the bottom line is.
I printed one out, but it's, my printer's poor. Was there a reason it was excluded from our packet?
Is it attached
It
to
should
this?
be
It's
attached to
on
your.
the back of the minutes,
On the back.
back of the agenda.
Okay.
No.
When you attach your resolution should all be in order by number.
To back up for a sec, yeah, I don't, if it was said, I
The
did not.
resolution 72.
I see it, I got it.
Resolution
Second
72,
page.
mine didn't print
So,
out. I'm sorry, Keith, go ahead.
well, so the red you're saying is negative, didn't have enough funds. And then you're transferring.
Negative is where I'm taking it from.
Okay, so what is the symbolization for that? That would say where you're taking from, that's the red?
Yeah, the red is where I'm taking it from,
Mm-hmm.
the black is where it's going to.
Okay. And so something like the 2025 Ford Explorer, you moved it into that location, but I thought we already had that in capital from last year.
There was some question on that. One of them was and one of them was not, the way I remembered it.
Okay, so the uplift cost was a carryover from capital from
Correct.
2020?
Yes, from 2024.
2024, and then the 2025 Ford Explorer Vehicle 1, now, is that one of the new vehicles we got for the marshals?
Yes.
Yes, and we didn't have money in there originally in capital.
We had figured where it was coming from prior to the availability of being able to do a line transfer. So that was what the plan was for where that money was coming from.
Rita, if we, since I haven't seen this either until just a few minutes ago, Are we gonna be defaulting on any of our bills, whatever, if we don't pass this
No,
tonight?
we are not, no.
Okay.
No. The line item transfers, though, we just had to have a resolution done, you know, it's possible that.
The resolution, we have to pass a resolution tonight?
I
Is that what
believe
you're
we
saying?
do. I believe we do, yes. The resolution needs to be passed tonight.
What's this 7,000 uncategorized?
Okay, that's partly Sam and my problem. What happened was there was a lot of items, and they're very small items individually, but there are a lot of like Amazon, like supplies and stuff like that. That was just like, she didn't know where to put it, and I hadn't had a chance to like have a conversation with her on where those items need to go. So those are, I just stuck that there because I knew that they were gonna be moved to different areas, and I wasn't sure whether or not those items would push us over that line item.
So you're talking about like when you put it into the system, there wasn't a category that line.
Right.
I didn't know if it was from the fire department,
Right.
or from the administration.
Okay.
Right, so it's more or less just a line item, like where did it actually belong?
And that will be moved prior to the final budget for the
Yes.
assessment with
Yes,
Chip.
absolutely.
Just to make sure that everything is in the correct spot.
Okay.
I'm just a little confused. When I was sworn in last year, we immediately passed a budget. So is there a reason why we didn't do that tonight?
Oh, no, the budget will be no, that was not at this meeting. We are gonna have a special meeting, and the budget will be introduced at that special meeting. And then there will be, then that gets sent to the state, or there, to the DCA. We're going to have a special meeting, yes. Has not been scheduled yet. But it's required to be to the DCA by the 23rd, so it must be
By the
before.
23rd of December.
Of December, correct. As the introduction, not as the
Not adopted.
adopted. Okay, so it'll go through, and we'll have a special meeting, and I will get that to you a week prior to that introductory meeting. So you'll have that.
You know that, but I'm not qualified for that position. I knew all that, but I'm not qualified.
But I'm unclear why we needed a special meeting when last year we passed the budget at my swearing in. I didn't even have a minute to look it over. Like, it was literally like, hi, welcome to the board, we're passing a budget. So why did we not do that tonight? Did we not do that tonight in deference? Please don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I did the
trying for
best I
clarity.
could under the circumstances, because I didn't have a lot of input. I got a lot of input prior to, but the last couple of weeks, I have not been able to get some of my questions answered, so I've done the best I could.
Alright,
And
so we'll schedule a special meeting,
Right.
and.
So I wanna use the proper amount of time to get things done
Right.
properly.
And it's gonna be we're not gonna schedule it at, whatever, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're gonna schedule it.
Well, I wouldn't be able to be there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because
Yeah.
I have.
Mr. Munson says it requires 7 days notice.
Because it's a special meeting for a budget, this will require 7 days prior notice, publication.
Well, can we please organize a date now? I
Yeah.
mean, this is the holiday month, everyone has a life, and.
I agree.
This is a
I
brand
agree.
shiny new thing to me, and again,
Yeah.
out of respect for all of us.
Obviously,
And I would like me to know ample time. to do
obviously,
so.
we don't wanna schedule a Christmas week, right?
No.
So, like the 17th or the 18th? Can everybody check their calendar?
I can do the
You
17th.
can't do the 18th?
I can't do the 18th. I can do
You
the
can't do the
17th.
18th? Alright, so 17th so far, let me check.
It's
the-
mandatory to kind of be here.
Not 5 o'clock.
Yeah, let's
I
make
won't be out of
it,
the office until then.
yeah, let's make it,
I won't be available at 5 o'clock.
Do the same as we always do at 7.
The 17th at,
Seven.
will you be able to give us a week on the budget if
Oh,
we do
yes.
it on the 17th?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll get with the 17th at 7.
Rita, your schedule, I know you do a lot of traveling, will you be able to get back here by 7?
I never know, I never know where I am scheduled to be
Let's-
until the
let's go
Friday
back.
prior, so unfortunately, I can't answer that question with any kind of clarity.
Well, do you?
The last
would
4
7
weeks, I
work for
have been in
you?
Cape May.
But would 7 work for you, or should we say 7:30, or should we say 7 and can we start late if
History-
she's not arrived?
History is that week, we are usually in the office in Marlton. So I think I would be available 6:30, if that's what you guys wanted to push
No,
for.
we'll just keep it at 7.
Keep it at 7?
Well, I think we actually need to come back to that, because we need to finish discussion of this resolution, and then we can set the date for the special meeting. Another person. All right, dude, so we can finish up, resolution 2025-72. Do we have any additional comments, questions on 72? Hearing none, do we have a motion? Moved and seconded, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Wu,
I abstain.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner, sorry, Commissioner Saucier? Yes. Commissioner Gaskell? Yes. Chairman Houston?
Yes. All right, do we want to set the date for the special budget hearing now, or do we want to wait till after, at the end of the agenda? Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm making an assumption here, since we already had a closed session, we have no need for a further closed session. Right.
Are we then allowed to just leave the numbers the same?
Well,
Or we
so-
actually have to swap them?
We actually, when we went into executive, we used 73.
So that's what I mean, though, can we have used 73 prior to, where does it go?
No, it doesn't have to go in number order.
Perfect.
Right. Okay, again, so back to the special meeting. We're gonna schedule a special meeting for, what do we say, the 17th?
December 17th? at
December
7.
17th at 7 PM, for budgetary purposes. Okay. I guess we'll probably make an official, vote on that. I'll move. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wu,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Saucier? Yes. Commissioner Gaskell? Yes. Chairman Houston?
Yes. Brings us to the public portion, public comment, general fire service matters. The public comment portion of the meeting is to allow the public to bring their concerns and comments to the board. The board will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be noted that the public comment portion of the meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions, an appointment can be made with the appropriate personnel. We ask that the public state their full name and address for record keeping and contain their comments to approximately 3 minutes. Members of the public are allowed to speak once. The public portion is not for arguing, insulting, speaking out of turn, screaming from audience, insulting staff or board members, and such riotous behavior, okay? Or will be asked to leave, as stated in resolution 2025-11. We can agree to disagree, but let's keep it respectful. So with that, we're gonna open up the public portion. We're gonna start on my right, first row. Again, name and address for the record, please.
Name is Louis Lopez, 98 Level Drive, on Holly, New Jersey. First is, I want to thank to one of your employees for giving a bottle of water. I appreciate it for that. Second is, when we're going to see Santa Claus at the fire trucks. Want to, that date. And another question. Just a curious question I'm being dying to ask. What happened if our ex-chief come to this meeting? Will you, call the cops or will you say something?
I'm sorry, Louis, can you repeat the question? I know you're asking about the chief, but.
I don't know, if the chief came here and sat down, there would be no conflict of interest, right?
No, it's a public meeting.
Are you asking why he's not in attendance?
Yeah.
You would need to ask him that.
No, he comes.
That's a matter of personnel that.
He's allowed to come to the meeting in the public sector.
I'm just curious, man.
He just can't act in the fire department.
And I want to thank to the Cherry Hill Fire Commissioner for view my view and was say, wow. That's all they say. Thanks, Brian. He's the new chief. Appreciate you for keeping count. And for how was it? Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me look at the agenda. For the appointment of the last person you appoint for a chief appreciate officer, if that shouldn't be no conflict of interest, it shouldn't be, or as under swearing.
Director, at the beginning of the year, we've not made any appointments tonight. Anyone who is currently serving in a role is continuing in that role on a month-to-month basis until our attorney has an opportunity to relook over everything and make sure that we're dotting all the Ts and crossing all the Is properly, Liz.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Guest. I hope you could accept my video, man. It's a 4K. Like I said, you're welcome to upload to my YouTube. You're welcome to use any forum.
I thank you so much for your transparency, and I hope you continue to direct people to keep an eye on us.
I appreciate it. Thank you as a guest.
Hello, Nick Sedano, 47 Garden Street. I have a pending FOPR request that was submitted on the 17th, and Commissioner Saucier was the acting records custodian who answered me on the 25th. So what my question is who is now the records custodian? Now that she's no longer the chair, I don't know if the responsibility switches to the chair, or is she the director, the acting director, and it stays with the acting director? I don't understand who the records custodian is.
Mike?
Mr. Sedano, the answer to your question would be.
Microphone, please. Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that. The answer to your question would be, it would start off as the chair. However, the chair can designate someone to serve as records custodian.
So as of this instant, it's Jules.
That would be correct.
Okay.
And then he can designate someone else to serve in that capacity.
So thank you so much. So follow-up is, I would ask that you review what was said to me, the rejection, and my follow-up, which I can give to you if you can't get it for whatever, and see if you still agree with that. Maybe you'll change direction, because currently I'm doing a complaint with the state Government Records Council. It'd be nice if we could just reel that back and just, so check it out.
At some point in the relatively near future, I will have a township / fire district email address.
Okay.
So as soon as I get that, we'll be in communication.
All right, that's good. And also want to congratulate you and thank you for your leadership. Like tonight was a breath of fresh air. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Anybody else in the first row? Second row? Third? No, we're doing the right-hand side, sir, right now.
Okay.
We'll come back to the line.
No problem. Indicate, please. I appreciate it.
Jim Lewis, 22 Washington Street. I want to, talk about some of the concerns about the behavior and inappropriate actions of Commissioner Saucier. Her actions.
Can we swap out that link?
Maybe take your hands off this podium.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay. Recently I read a line at the Mount Holly Reporter, her attempts at contaminating a murder crime scene. Where she broke through, flashing her badge as a commissioner to break through a murder scene and running away from the police to trample over a dead body. Her actions are reprehensible. And then arguing with the police, when the chief of police is telling her she's walking through the blood, and she's arguing with the police, no, I'm not. There would be no reason for her to be there in the slightest. You know, the fire chief was on scene, so anything needed to go for him, and the district employed a director of fire services to do any administrative stuff. And if she, for some reason, decided she wanted to talk to the police, when the police yell you, you run towards them, not run as fast as you can away from the police towards the deceased individual. She very well might have contaminated and caused a murder to go free because of her action, you know, when she was flashing her badge. I think she should resign in disgrace for her actions. More so, I see, you know, although it's pulled from the agenda, the interview process of people to appoint. And she said it herself, and Commissioner Gaskell was, you know, the interview process. It shows the lack of ethics and morals on Commissioner Gaskell's part, you know, and her disregard for the fire district and its rules by her involvement in it. She literally interviewed and recommended her husband for a position. Did you not learn anything from the previous lawsuit where your behavior was chimed in by the judge, and then you were told of your unethical behavior and that was thrown out? How many lawsuits does this district have to face because of the unethical and poor judgment of Commissioner Gaskell? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nobody else in the third row, fourth row?
Do I go?
Yeah, we'll go right hand side first, and work our way back to the left.
That's not how we did it before, but,
Okay,
okay.
go to that. Anybody in the fourth row?
Nobody on the road, the other side.
Go ahead.
I always thought they went this way.
I thought so too.
Tara Astor, 416 Button Street, Mount Holly, New Jersey. First, I want to congratulate Commissioner Deason. And yeah, I have to second Mr. Sedano. This is a very well-run meeting, and I appreciate that. I know that like running for office is a lot of hard work. You know, just knocking on doors, stuffing envelopes. It's exhausting. I think, and now the real work begins. And as I was thinking myself as an elected official, when a person runs for office, they work to gain people's trust, to get them, to give them their vote. And then once elected, the obligation then shifts to do what is needed to keep their trust. You gained their trust to vote for you, but then once you're elected, the goal is to keep their trust. And I hope that everyone on this board would keep that in mind and in your hearts for the coming year. And then two other little side notes. The full text of the agenda, at the very least, uploaded on the website. I know printing a lot of pages can be expensive, but if the full text could be uploaded on the website of what's on the agenda, it would be very much appreciated, because a lot of people come to meetings and watch online because they want to know what's going on and be involved. And the last thing, in terms of posting the meetings, I know that the fire district has a Facebook page, and it's a great tool for community engagement and disseminating information. I know the township website posts things and the fire district website will post things, but I think adding when a meeting is happening to the fire district Facebook page would be great, because, you know, if you have it on the website or at the municipal building, people have to come, and a lot of times they don't even know that it's there. But when you post it on the fire district Facebook page, you are reaching out to the people and letting them know. You could probably inform more people, especially with a special meeting. So just some suggestions, and thank you. Again, it's a breath of fresh air as well for a very well-run meeting. I think it's the least we can do is follow policies and procedures and just do things appropriately and lawfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Just a general comment, just so everybody's aware. I will temporarily be taking over the role, but I still work. I work 60+ hours a week. I'd be doing the fire district a disservice if I was trying to do the chief's role. So at some point in the relatively near future, we're gonna find somebody at least to temporarily fill that role. I would be doing I don't know enough yet. And obviously I've been here for 2 and a half hours. So, we will be appointing somebody to.
Microphone?
I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm not used to turning on the microphones. We'll be appointing somebody at some point in the relatively near future to fulfill the role. I'll still be overseeing their activities, but I work 60 hours a week. There's no way I can do the fire district a service by, doing all the activities. So at some point, we'll, keep somebody temporary, somebody that's already here. We haven't looked at who, what, where, when, whatever, but, I would be doing the fire district a disservice by trying to do both. All right, keep going back. Next row, it'd be, I believe, the 5th row.
Stone Laraway, 114 Branch Street. Congratulations on your new role. I want to be clear about what's happening with the fire district. Certain commissioners and a fire director chose to act outside the rules that govern us, and a lawsuit was filed because of that decision. The suit isn't about the people who brought it forward, it's about the actions of Nicole, June, and Jason, who bypassed the process we all rely upon. When leaders ignore the bylaws or the laws, the whole community feels the fallout. Wasted time, legal costs, and erosions of trust. Holding them accountable isn't an attack on anyone. It's a defense of the transparent, democratic process we all deserve. Let's focus on the facts. These commissioners and the fire director made a clear choice. They faced legal consequences, and it's up to us to keep our government accountable. We can do that by staying informed, asking tough questions, and supporting the rule of law, not blaming the messengers. Thank you for your attention and for standing together for a fair and open Mount Holly.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else on the right-hand side of the room?
Jessica Hall, 704 Bloomfield Drive. I just have a question. So with you guys tabling the new line officers being sworn in, are there gonna be new interviews being conducted? And is the acting battalion chief gonna be a part of that?
Well, that's what we're having our solicitor take a look at, to look at what the rules were. Did we follow the rules? If we did follow the rules, then appointments will happen. There's a possibility that new interviews will be conducted if we didn't follow the rules? Absolutely.
Okay, because the director who is, currently on leave, he actually appointed him on October 6th as the acting chief. So obviously he's qualified for something at some point.
Anybody that was appointed that's currently appointed will continue to fulfill their role on a month-to-month basis until we have reached some conclusion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, come over to the left, first row. Anything, sir? All right, second row. You're up.
Me? Help me on guard here. I appreciate that. Let's put this over here. Let's take this over here. Now bear with me. And try to make this as quick as possible. Now the reason you may wonder why I bring a PowerPoint presentation or board is because I was doing some research. I realized that, and I requested also Nick, an Oprah request. Didn't get anything, but I requested one ethics rules, and I've been asking for that a long time with Mount Holly. So I went to New Jersey, and God, there's a lot of important things. Misconduct, right to know, disciplinary action, accountability, no conflict of interest, avoid conflict of interest. That means people shouldn't, family, yada, 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 shouldn't get involved. We also have, more relevant, that allegations of misconduct, sexual harassment are taken seriously and lead to legal and disciplinary discipline. Now, why, you may ask, I say that? Well, the reason why, you may know that Pepperton, Mayor Tompkins, is under investigation, has been under investigation, and right now, he's at 400 million that they paid out. He's at 500,000 that the town had to pay out for legal expenses over, and they expect more. So right now, they officially have him uninsurable. So he's gonna have to leave, because that's part of the mandate. Now, I would hate for that to happen here, as we can see, because of the director, Jason Carty, we have him insulting someone on a clown issue, calling him and asking for investigation. That's one. You can read further on your own, because I'm gonna try to expedite this and be fast. So, pedestrians are hit by a car. You accuse someone, say Riley, of hitting someone with a car, and which was not true. And then we also have, now these are all legal actions, which is gonna cost the fire department and the town of Mount Holly money. So that's the citizens. So we also have the Catskill case, which a gentleman mentioned earlier. Then we have Jason Carty, where he officially announced himself as an abuser. So, if we take it any further, you can see that on platform 2, we look at this website. It has the Mount Holly News. Everybody goes, but everybody knows who's behind that. So, he posts articles up there of people making allegations which are not true. And he's in an official capacity. So that's litigation, one. So we have here Jason Carty making a doxing, putting a person's address on that website without the person's consent to invite doxing. And that's a violation according to the New Jersey state law right here, number 2785. And that was a bill passed. Right here you have all the rules and regulations pertaining to that. That's illegal. It could impose jail time for anyone who's involved with it, and a lawsuit. And you can add on here as well. There's other, and I'm not going to take it and read every one. Now, on top of that, unfortunately, his wife got hit with a lawsuit. So, and she possibly can serve time in jail, 5 to 10 years. So they're going to pursue that. And that just came out today. So now we're going to have to go into that. And how is the kids going to be taken care of? And who is going to take care of the kids? What is he going to do? Spread himself out thin? Or is the town going to pay for that? Or are you going to pay for that? Now, there's a lot of things that, and any of you can be involved, and if they find out by investigation that you're involved, because I'm going to be forwarding that to the state attorney general, so if they find out that you're involved, that's not very well placed to put that. Now, you also have the freedom of information. Nick mentioned it earlier. I mentioned it. I asked. I will send that to you, sir. I would hate for you to get caught up in any of this stuff that's going on right now. If the town wants to continue getting sued and getting cases against you, and you feel that you can take him on, this guy Tompkins is uninsurable. He's going to step down now. He has to step down. So you can't go on any further. I expect that the town would be a little more without conflict of interest, without anybody looking at who their relatives may gain a spot or may not. I hope the lawyers prepare for anything to make him out of it. If you're gonna stay, if you're not, then I suggest you leave early. You still have time to step down, sir, and think about it twice. You may not want to, but I don't stop easy. I keep on looking, I keep on investigating, I keep on over it, I keep on requesting, and I go to the state, to the New Jersey ethics. Again, states have very state laws on what people can do and how they can act. Now, if someone got accused here of sexual harassment, that is a serious case. I hope that isn't so, but if it's so, and we find out it's so, we better take it further and we better let everyone know. You better not sweep it under the carpet, because these are serious cases. So I will stop there, and I appreciate your time, but anybody's welcome to use the board to point out anything they like. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody in the next row? Jeff?
Sure.
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. Congratulations, Jules, in your new position. I see, it's actually unbelievable that we had a couple 5-0 votes. I haven't seen that in this board forever, where all 5 of you agreed on something, which is a move in the right direction. It's nice on the right-hand side with Gina and Ms. Loger asking questions that are very important for the residents to know. There are things that you learn. I don't know, I actually like the approach. Sometimes it's a little rough about how we bring it about, but it's really good to know that these improprieties might exist. And what was really nice is when, in the past, when some of these improprieties were brought to the attention of the lawyer, he'd make a suggestion as to what the board should do, and the board ignored him. Nicole was in charge of the board at the time, would ignore what the solicitor told him to do. And I did question the solicitor and say, well, can you like lose your law license or whatever? He says, well, I'm at the discretion of the board. The board can do whatever they want. They want to vote yes or no. It was nice that you guys actually tabled some of those things, so you can look into it. But it's amazing because while you guys were out, I'm talking to people who were appointed. Well, I'm talking to the people that were appointed to these positions, lieutenant and all these other ones. Only 2 are Mount Holly residents, which is amazing that we're appointing people to these positions, captains, who don't even live around here. So, and some of them who were appointed were never interviewed. So if Nicole was, like she said, interviewing people, how could they appoint somebody that she never interviewed? So I don't know where she's getting, why she would lie to us and not tell the truth. But it's a serious thing when you tell us one thing, but you did something different. But I love the way the board's changed, and I hope, Jules, I hope you're gonna stay on, because we need you. The difference up there, where you're standing up there, running this meeting, is a total different meeting than has been run for the last, since I've been coming here. So you're thorough, you're tabling stuff, you're doing things that are right, and I can see you've been thrown into the fire, and I hope you stay on, so we get votes 3-2 one way, 2-3 that way, whatever, but vote your conscience. I mean, everybody's up there trying to do something right.
I hope we get to the point where, been on boards and councils for quite a number of years,
Yes, I know.
and we're gonna agree to disagree.
Yep.
That's just gonna happen, whether it's Democrat, Republican, whether it's like, but, we need to do it respectfully. Everybody up here should respect everybody else's opinion.
Yeah.
And everybody should expect the opinion of the public, whether you agree with it or not agree with it. We just need to be civil to each other. We can disagree without being disagreeable.
Right. What's best for the town of Mount Holly.
It's really,
And it's
really-
nice that you guys are actually acknowledging and making accommodations so that everybody has the information, so they can make informed decisions. Because as you can see from now, that isn't the way this board ran. People get things at the last minute, they're supposed to vote on things, they've never seen it. It's refreshing to see you in charge. In one night, you've done more for this community than this board has done for a year. Not only the board members, but the residents, and I thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'd like to piggyback off Jeff's sentiments and commend you on your remarks here tonight that it's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. And I do hope that's what we'll continue to see, because the only campaign we saw for you billed you as a Democrat and disparaged the Republicans in town. So I hope that since you did publicly dismiss that when you had the opportunity, that your leadership will show us that you don't endorse that messaging that was put out on your behalf.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Maureen?
Happy Wednesday, Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. Just want to follow up what Jeff said. I think Amber said, a couple people said it. I am a little bit happier tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you, Jules. I thought you were gonna walk away. I can say that I'm glad you didn't. I myself, as a physically engaged, active citizen, as they tell me in New Jersey League of Municipalities, I'm happy to see the board running this way. When you first came in, I was like, here we go again with the split, And we are all neighbors here, and that's the saddest thing. I've known you since 2004, when Nick and you first met me over there. So, you know, it's terrible that everyone is a neighbor. You can't stand your neighbors. Most of our kids go to school together. You act like you don't know people living across the street from it. It's really sickening. So I pray that, this will move forward in a better way, you know. Moving right along, you had mentioned about you want the reports by the close of business. So as a citizen, and I'm learning this, which one of these entities that you guys did not appoint tonight, build personnel and planning, which one of those is responsible for having the paperwork the Friday before? What department would that be?
I don't think of any, and I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I don't think any of those committees in particular, it would fall on, well, it was Nicole's responsibility. It is now my responsibility until we all agree to appoint somebody else.
Until you delegate someone who will
Correct,
just.
so for the next couple of meetings, it will be my responsibility.
Until someone is delegated, and that would be that person's addition or sole job to make sure these minutes get out in enough time that everyone has time to look it over and
Correct.
take it in.
And if we don't, like I said, you know, I just speak for myself, right? I work a full-time job, I work 60 hours a week, like, you know, I wanna get it the weekend before, I've got a whole weekend to read it, understand it, ask questions, especially being new, there's a lot of information I don't know that I have to learn. So, you know, I'm gonna have a lot of questions, and like, you know, I'm sure other board members are gonna have a lot of questions. So that gives you the weekend to review, digest, and then you can ask questions on Monday and Tuesday before the Wednesday meeting. Like, you know, to me, that's reasonable.
I believe it's reasonable, and I pray that all the board members ask questions. From what I've seen recently, it's only been 2 board members ever asking questions. So it is enlightenment to see you asking questions and voting on things to be tabled. You know, we didn't have that, and like I said, it's just sickening. All of us are nice neighbors, but everybody got their cell phone numbers, and you can't get along in a meeting. The only thing I wanna ask also, we had an incident prior to you becoming on board at one of the grammar schools, a light pole fell through the window. So, as the fire commission, will this fire department do any implementation, education-wise, for teachers? That was a freak accident. The ground was obviously saturated, the pole fell through the window. In an instance of that nature, thank God no one was hurt, but God forbid that there was a child that it ignited an electrical fire. Are these teachers able and knowing and willing to do what they need to do? You know, God forgive me, but we don't have gun violence in our schools, but with an electrical fire in a classroom, something that's a freak accident like that, will our fire department educate our educators on, hey, this is what you do if you have such an emergency in a situation like that, if a child is actually harmed, electrocuted within that classroom. And again, I'm sure the ground is saturated. Thank you. The other thing is, you know, outside the fact that, when I went to the League of Municipalities, I had asked prior to going, was anyone in the fire commission going to the League of Municipalities? Every year they have it. I've been going for 3 years as, just a quote-unquote physically engaged active citizen. There's a lot of information they put out about the fire commissions. Sometimes you see people, sometimes you don't, so I'm not certain if someone from our firehouse went. Did you go, Nicole? Okay, very well, thank you. So you have information. Will you be able to disseminate any of that information that you found to the public?
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to go through my notes after the notice.
All right, okay, thank you.
Seminars you said.
The seminars, yeah. The other thing was, I think the acting chief vice brought it up also, just curious about the re-interview process for these officers that are not gonna get sworn in. Are we gonna have the same set of officers gonna get re-interviewed, or are we gonna have a different set of people that can be pulled from a poll?
From my perspective, Marty, it's too early to say that.
It's too
Like
early.
I said, you know, once we get the procedure down, did we follow the procedure, didn't we follow the procedure? And if we didn't follow the procedure, as far as I'm concerned, everything's on the table.
Okay, and my very last thing is, I had said this before, I think some time ago, when we first got back into this building a couple of times. With the flooding, and obviously this building costs a lot of money, and I believe there's a lot of engineering flaws, and I'm not an engineer, I'm just a person just looking in, and I see things. So another question is, what are we doing about these mouse traps? I mean, we can't find a better humane way to get rid of mice? I mean, get a resident cat. I mean, why do we have to kill, why do people have to come and be psychologically traumatized by some poor mouse that's screaming all night? Can we find a better humane way to get rid of these poor mice? You know, that obviously we built their firehouse on top of their home.
to have like 2 cats roaming through here.
Maureen, we have to be concerned about allergies too. So, I mean, I get it, I love that your dedication to the Pussycat community, and the idea of them getting a free lunch probably delights you, right? It makes me happy
No,
too.
it's a deterrent, they just
Right, no,
smell.
I ain't mad at it, I think it's a brilliant plan, but we have to be concerned about everybody's safety in this
Well, I
building, right?
may be
So,
wrong, we
I
could
mean,
take a poll, I don't know, but I'm
we
just
can
saying,
maybe
there's
speak to
humane
our
traps.
exterminator for sure.
Well, we don't wanna exterminate them, but there's humane traps, and it would just cost a little bit more investment. I mean, I would give a few dollars, put a bucket here, even I would, one more thing, I would give money for, paper, I need paper. You know, I know, I'm 53, I'm not ashamed to say it, I can barely use my cell phone. I don't wanna be on the internet every day trying to download the fire commission stuff. If I'm walking downtown, if I'm walking around this town, I like to just walk up there and look at the door, oh yeah, I see it. So take into consideration, there's a lot of elders in this community that are not 53 like me, that don't even wanna use their cell phone. And there's some vice versa who got iPhones galore. So I think when we're looking at this amendment, I believe the solicitor said, this is gonna be implemented by the secretary, right? As of March 1, so anything we do is gonna be an amendment to it. Isn't that correct? We can add to it, not take away from it, but we can add to it. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, the resolution that was passed, and that actually goes into effect now, so, the various
I thought it
ways.
said like March 1st, I thought someone said, hey,
Mhm.
the secretary of the state implemented by March 1st.
Right, so, the resolution that was passed tonight with the amendments, it included a bunch of items, ways that we will notify the public of meetings. That goes into effect now, so presumably for the next meeting, we'll follow that resolution. The March 1st, requirements to post and to register with, and then post with the Secretary of State website goes into effect March 1st, when that website's up and running. That's almost separate and apart from the resolution here. That's a legal requirement under the amendments of the Public Meetings Act. We can certainly memorialize that in a resolution, but whether we do or whether we don't, come March 1st, we'll have to comply with that. But I think that what you were maybe referring to, especially with the paper, the actual hard copies of notices, I think that may have been one of the items that was part of the amendment tonight. So effective now, moving forward, the board will try to comply with those and provide notice in all the different ways that are part of the amendments tonight.
Okay, so bro, we can donate some humane traps or something. And I just wanna say, I pray to God that we move forward in a great way, and I hope that there's just not a lot of conflict with our firefighters and our volunteer firefighters. Because if they're having conflict with each other, they're not gonna be able to save people. If they're fussing amongst themselves, like the board was fussing constantly.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the left-hand side of the room?
Yeah. How you doing? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
I got a projector coming in with some screens. I'm gonna set up for a minute. Give me 5-10 minutes. I got about an hour and a half to go. Please? No, I'm not kidding. Just for those of you who don't know me, my name is Frank Smith, and I've lived at 57 years of place. This is the first time I made a commission meeting in about 15 years. Okay? This is the first time I've been in this building that we stand in, that I actually was on the committee for and designed. I was told I wasn't allowed to come in the building. I'm an ex-fire chief. I live in town. That's a plus, right? I'm very qualified to do that position. Any position is a part of it, for that matter. But my main question, I'm here to let you guys know, all the commissioners, is don't be afraid to reach out to us, the firemen, the ones who are doing the job, to know a little more about the firematic side. For instance, like your policies and procedures and interviews. I did all the emojis when I was fire chief in 2001, 2005. They were all policies and procedures that I did when I was chief. But when we sat down and did an interview, our chief was there. We appointed the chief first. He sat in on the committee to interview his officers, because he's gonna be the one that has to deal with everything. He wants to make sure he's gonna get the right person. That's just an example. In these committees that you were, like one commissioner's head, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do on this committee. Building and grounds and all that. We know because we've been here. All you gotta do is reach out and ask us. I don't know how many, or whatever, Rita, you know me. Me and Rita go back a long time. You're the one left here. But it's just, from when I remember to now, it's a big difference. Our commission meeting would last 20, 25 minutes. They would pay the bills, and that's it. And that's all your job is to collect funds, pay the bills, and let the fire department operate. Huh?
Say it again.
Okay, you can't hear me, I'm sorry.
Yes, before you leave too, officially for the record, I think 90% of us know who you are, but officially for the record, your name and address, please.
My name is Frank Smith, and I live at 57 Joseph Place in Mount here. I've been a member of the department here for 30 plus years. I'm an ex-fire chief, ex-commissioner, ex-chairman of the board. I mean, I did it all. I'm like crap all over the place. But not just me. There's people that know George Gaskell's another one. He's been here since dirt started here too. And we know. Just don't be afraid to reach and ask. I mean, believe me, we wanted to work better. Without you guys, we don't get the funding. Okay? But we as firefighters shouldn't have to worry about whether our commission board is operating right or not. Because believe me, it does affect us. It affects us a lot. And it starts at the top. Without good leadership, you're not gonna have anything. And I learned that a long time ago. But just to, I'd really like to sit down and talk to the chairman, if possible, just to bend your ear a little bit about different things. And anybody, really, but tonight, it just seemed like, there's some commissioners that wanted to do, but they really didn't know how to do it, or what they were supposed to do or get it done. And obviously, the commissioners sitting next to them don't know either. But, we do. Well, I'm sure we can get an answer from somebody, it's one of us. But that's all I got. I don't want to worry too much more.
Thanks, sir. We appreciate your comments.
Like I said, call me. Anybody, you all know. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else on the left-hand side of the room?
Pierre Ford, 117 Branch Street. I'd like to give you a compliment on the way that you're running this meeting. This is a lot more smooth. I look forward now to coming in because I'm tired of the arguing. We are supposed to be taking care of each other and make this town so much better. I'm seeing that from this meeting. Also, I want to give compliments to the firefighters. These guys bust their tails. I hope that this committee looks at them and takes care of them, because even though some of them are volunteers, they should be taken care of. And if we don't, then we're failing our firefighters. Thank you.
Thank you, Spear. Anybody else on the left-hand side of the room? There are hearing none, we're gonna close the public portion. Director's report, I assume that would fall to you, Nicole. Do we have a director's report? Okay. Solicitor's report, anything additional, sir? Right, but we don't have to decide it tonight, correct? Yeah. We could. Chairman's report. Okay, next meeting date, well, this will be, put in a special meeting. So we talked about, what again, the 17th at 7 p.m.? 12/17, 7 p.m. Does that work for everybody? Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we have a special, meeting for budgetary purposes only on, 12/17 at 7 p.m. We have a second, Nicole second, we have a roll call.
Commissioner Little?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Salcier?
Yes.
Commissioner Gasco?
Yes.
Chairman Peterson?
Yes, right, and then our next regular meeting will be January 7th, 2026, at 7 p.m. in the chambers. Do we have anything else we'd like to discuss? All right, do a motion to adjourn? All right, first, second, roll call. Roll call.
Commissioner Little?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Okay.
Commissioner Salcier? Yes. Commissioner Gasco? Chairman Peterson?
Next,